As well as the really large skull that we've seen already, we're lucky that we've got some elements of post-cranial material. That's everything behind the skull. We've got a forelimb here, we've got some ribs, and we've got some teeth and a vertebra. Now with this forelimb, we have the upper arm bones, the humerus, the coracoid, and the scapula there.
So that's part of the pectoral girdle.
And what we had was all these digit bones, the fingers if you like, of the ichthyosaur that were on here. I've removed all of those because there was an awful lot of glue and mess there, and it really needed cleaning up, and I'll be putting these back. But Dean needs to assess this forelimb and really decide how these bones should go on there.
That's it, exactly. So for the first interpretation of these, I don't think they're actually in the correct order. Now, that's going to be very, very difficult, almost near impossible, to actually put these back to their original order without having been there when this specimen was excavated or actually have photographs of the excavation. So, it's probably going to be the best option is just to have a look at these compared to other specimens of probably similar age and probably put them back as they are now.
Yeah. Okay. But what do you think about the size of this limb bone compared to the size of the skull? Because with ichthyosaurs, you often get a large body with a small skull, or a small body with a large skull. It really does vary quite a bit. So we've got a large skull, but my impression is that this is quite a large forefin as well.
So yeah, it is quite a large forefin. We have the humerus is really quite, which is the upper arm bone, which is that's quite robust and large. And yeah, some of these paddle elements as well, some of the finger digits, they're quite large as well. So it is quite I think probably quite a big animal.
How big do you think it might have been then, based on the forelimb and the skull?
Yeah,
good guess.
Good guess. Probably in excess of 20 feet, so about 6 meters or something like that.
Yeah,
so quite an animal.
Yeah. However, what do you think of the ribs? To me, they look quite dainty and small.
Yeah, so they're really thin ribs, and of course they're ribs, so it's very hard to, without more of the animal, to figure out where they would have actually belonged on the actual animal itself. So yeah, they're quite dainty and small, so
not much you can do with ribs really. Although I've spent time gluing a lot of these tiny fragments back together to make them into bigger pieces, there's only so much you can do. You can do something with the teeth though. What we have here is some of the teeth that aren't in the skull, and looking at these, if you can explain to us, Dean, how these teeth sit in the skull and how much would be actually protruding from the gum.
So with the teeth, ichthyosaurs don't actually have teeth in sockets, unlike many other reptiles, just plesiosaurs, which are extinct marine reptiles. The teeth sit in a dental groove, so they actually sit in the jaw of the specimen, of the animal. And for these, as an example, it would just be the crown which would actually poke out, which is probably no more than 1 or 2 centimetres on some of the larger teeth.
In fact, some of them look as though it's only a centimetre or so.
That's it, exactly. So despite them being really robust, big, strong teeth, which is probably used for sort of grasping and smashing of a large animal, they're actually quite short.
So the teeth would actually look in their mouth as if they're all about that big.
Yeah, exactly that. So very interesting teeth. And of course then the last specimen.
Yeah, this is interesting. So
so this is actually not an ichthyosaur bone at all. It's a plesiosaur vertebra. And plesiosaurs have actually been described around the same location as this, right, Nigel?
They found them from almost exactly the same deposits, and for some reason we have a bone here that is a plesiosaur. We know that because they're quite different from ichthyosaur vertebrae. Whether it was found with this animal, it had been washed in or something like that, we don't know, or it could just have been from an animal in the collection that was in an adjacent drawer and for some reason has ended up with this.
Well, that's it, because the preservation of this bone and the others as well are quite similar.
It's identical, so it's almost certainly from the same side.
Yeah.